Hello, you bedroom sluts. Welcome back to Scry Syndrome TV podcast. I'm your host, Ben Gilman. As always, I hope you're well, having a good week. It's been crazy for me, but I'm only joined by one person this week. So, Helen Carnes.
No, come on.
How are you been? It's been a while. Scotland's independence again is on the table.
It is, yeah, and they're not going to mess that one up twice, are they?
Do you reckon? How have you been? It's been a couple of weeks, first of all.
It has been a couple of weeks, yeah. So I can't remember what I did the week before last, but on Friday, instead of recording, I went to see a Midsommer screening of Midsommer.
We were second choice on Friday night. That was what I was going to say last week, but it's a joke now.
Yeah, no, I think Scotland came so close to independence last time, and I think I'm gonna just little political opinion. I think the English are genetically incapable of acting in their own best interest.
Yeah.
So I would quite like to see Scotland act in their own best interest, just to separate themselves from the English.
Why should the English bully the Welsh and the Irish and the Scottish? That's what I say. I think if they all left, it would make England think twice. Why should Scotland? For me, why should I like Scottish people? We can still go to Scotland and see Scotland.
Yeah.
You know.
We just don't have to be governed by your government anymore. It's fair enough, really. I mean, I don't live in Scotland. I'm probably not the best person to talk to.
But you were born.
I was. I grew up there. But I've got the accent, which is probably the most important bit.
Nice accent. I'll take it.
I was anti-independence first time round. Don't hate me. I grew up in Scotland, but I have an English mother and all that stuff, and some of the more nationalist elements of the independence thing made me a little uncomfortable. But now I'm like, since we voted in whatever we call a government that we got now in England, I'm like, yeah, fair enough, walk away.
Yeah.
Leave us to it.
Yeah, maybe if you put Braveheart on for the whole year, every night on Scottish television, maybe the whole Scottish nation will just go.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is on every night. Like,
oh, really?
No. I mean, you could get it. It's probably going to be somewhere easily accessible, somewhere in Scotland at any point.
I think it will happen this time. I think Brexit and COVID has made them go.
Yeah,
right, a couple of years ago, we should definitely got to go.
I come from a town called Dundee, but there's like a little town that my dad used to live in when I was a teenager called St Andrews, and they got one cinema in St Andrews, and it's the only cinema in like a 50-mile radius. And Braveheart showed for about 4 weeks, and it only has 2 screens. So like, it's usually like one film shows for a week if you're lucky, but Braveheart, yeah, that was on for ages.
This is going to make me ask for the first time I heard the word Dundee was Crocodile Dundee. I was like, no, it's a Scottish little town. Oh, they named it after him, have they?
Not a little town, it's a city, but it's a village. Like, everybody in Dundee knows each other.
Lovely, and they've got Dundee United and Dundee FC, I think.
Yeah, 2 closest together rival football grounds in Europe, if not the world.
Lovely, and they're very friendly.
Opposite side of the road. And I learned the other week after watching a Danny Dyer documentary about football hooligans that they're so close together that they have the same firm. So the gang of like casuals, or the people that like go and fight in, Dundee and Dundee United share a team in that sense.
So they don't have Rangers Celtic way of smacking the shit out of each other. They just kind of come together as one big.
Yeah. So
that's nice.
They'll get together to smash the shit out of Rangers and Celtic. Yeah.
Why can't Rangers see if Arsenal, Tottenham should do that as well? Like, just merge together, just like North London, like fuck up everybody. Well, look, football violence is bad, but it makes you realise if you're just down the road from each other, you can just bump fists.
Do you know what though? The knife crime in Scotland is relatively low to the amount of violence that there is in Scotland. And they did a survey, but it's a long time. I mean, don't quote me this. I think my dad told me this. And, my dad's an exaggerator at best. But he said that the reason that there's not much knife crime in Scotland is that people value the sport of a fight.
That's it. Scottish men are real men. They fight with their fists. That's the title of
Yeah.
this episode.
Scottish men are real men who fight with their fists.
Yes, they don't use knives. Knives are for pussies. Like, use your fist. When
Yeah.
I was in school, if you used a weapon, you were like a
You were
coward.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't think fighting is good, but if I was to fight someone, fight me like a man. Don't use a weapon.
It's the value of a square go,
Come
isn't it? Like
fight
square
me
means
like an old
fair.
fashioned boxer. Like, come on, let's go. Let's go. Put your
Yeah. Let's
fisticuffs up.
duke this out.
Yes,
This is for dominance, not for the death.
exactly. That's how it should be. Not like this stupid, how do you say it? Like this knife crime thing. It's so that gun crime as well. But yet there's no Tara. Before we get back on the subject, no Tara Chloe. We don't know where she is. She's most probably sleeping with sweaty Asian men, and Troy Salmon has pulled an injury. So much like the whole of AEW and WWE and every wrestler in the world at the moment, half the rosters are all injured with stuff. So, I had a joke prepared, but it looks like a curse.
Lost on me. Like unless it's about the Undertaker and
He's coming back at SummerSlam. He's going to make an appearance.
British Bulldog.
He's not going to wrestle, but he's going to come back for a special appearance. He's like 55 now. He's not getting back in that ring.
I was going to say the Undertaker must be like old.
He looks like it hurts him to walk now. He's obviously done all those flying dives over the ropes and stuff. Have caught up with him.
Oh, bless him.
He walks like a granddad. I got a lot of respect for wrestlers because people say, "Oh, it's fake." Not when you're landing on your head and on your back. That ring
not
is
fake.
not.
It's like fighting with my family, isn't it? Was they said it's not. It's scripted, not fake. Like
Yeah. So is EastEnders. So people go, "Oh, is it a bit fake?" So is EastEnders, but you watch that shit, and it's like, what's the point? Because if you did these moves in real life on people, they'd be dead. Because I watched Stardom, which is Japanese wrestling. There's these little tiny Japanese guys, because they're so light, they're able to drop each other right on their neck, which is scary to watch sometimes. Like, I got a lot of respect for pro wrestlers because it's insane. But I've noticed they get all the people outside to give them, when they do a big dive, they have all the wrestlers to catch them. Let's make it safe as possible so that the flying wrestler, doesn't dink their head on the concrete. It's kind of cool. It's like a good way of making it safe as possible.
I mean, you only have to look at like Chris Benoit to know that the head injuries are real, right?
There's a couple of concussions at the moment, and now they're like, right, until you're cleared, you're not resting. The days of headshots with chairs and stuff is stopped.
Good.
It's more in the back and just being more careful. And concussions are treated more seriously, which is great, because I remember when Mick Foley used to take chair shots to the head by The Rock, man. I mean, can't watch that anymore. That's not, now I know what I know about concussions. It's uncomfortable now.
Exactly.
But anyway, so
how are you, Ben?
I'm okay. I've been sick this week, nausea, which is not fun. It's like being in purgatory. I was spent half of the week. Thankfully, I was working from home, so I was able to concentrate on work quite well. But it's not. I don't want that ever again. Like, that was like, I just wanted to throw up, and it wouldn't let me throw up, and I was just like, fucking throw up. And I wasn't going to force it. Someone told me to force it. I'm like, well, no, I'm not forcing it. My body's going to need to do it. But I have found a special trick. It's called chewing gum.
Yeah.
I didn't know this because the saliva, it settles it down. If you keep chewing gum when you feel like you've got something, it's quite good. I spent 6 hours at a hospital, which is ridiculous, fucking ridiculous. But no, it's not so ridiculous. The waiting time. What's ridiculous? So I'm just
getting that saliva going.
Tablets, yeah. What's ridiculous is while I was there were loads of people that came in after me that got seen first, and there was a lot of people getting quite annoyed. You should do it
by urgency.
Broken ankle compared to someone's stomach bloated, ready to throw up. I think there's I don't agree with it.
If you don't fix a broken ankle within a certain amount of time, it can be quite dangerous.
Okay, fair play. I just realized there was a lot of people that have been there for like 6 hours already, and they were all every hour. A couple of people went mental at the desk. I think I might
Yeah.
get.
Yeah, I understand that it's frustrating, like, but as far as I know, they have very strict criteria about who gets seen and how.
Fair play.
Yeah, and when. So it's like, they give you a score, I think, and then that's the thing it goes in. So I don't think anybody that actually works there has got any control over that
I
stuff.
have respect for them. I didn't want to shout at the doctor. The doctor was very funny and made me smile. He was very good at his job.
That's good.
But like I was happy for him. He did have an argument with me about having it at my pharmacy instead of the one like a couple of miles down the road to get it
Oh,
tonight. So like, mate, I have to eat and sleep. I'll grab this tomorrow morning. I'm feeling better already. Let me posit this at my pharmacy in the morning. And we had a laugh about it. He was like, all right. But yeah, the NHS do a good job. I mean, like shouting at the doctors, it's
nah, they're underfunded,
I
and
appreciate. I mean, they deserve more support. I
yeah,
mean, I brought a book. Bring a book. Bring something.
yeah, exactly.
Bring something to read. I knew I was going to be there for a long time, so I brought like a big 300-page magazine. I was like,
Excellent.
took my mind off of it, and then I watched The Angry People, and then I went back to my magazine.
I did something the other day that I'm really ashamed of that they probably won't let me back in Scotland for. So I bought a magazine because I liked it. Was like a pretentious film magazine, and it had a picture of
Is it
Divine on.
Empire?
No, it was more pretentious than that.
Total Film?
No, 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 no. I'm not. Wait, I'm not going to finish it. But it had a picture of Divine on the front, and I'm obsessed with Divine because I'm obsessed with John Waters. And it was a special anniversary edition of this magazine it's the 50th anniversary of Pink Flamingos, which is one of John Waters' really famous films. And I got to the check. I didn't look at the price of the magazine. I was like, I'll just buy it. It doesn't matter how much it is. Couldn't see a price. And I got to check it, and it was £8 for one magazine. And I paid that. That's what London has done to my brain.
Good job. Sorry, I came off the call for a second. Skype has been a bit glitchy the last couple of weeks.
Oh no.
So,
Yeah,
Adam, what was the name of the slappy
I don't think it was
film?
called like I think it was called like Night and Day magazine or something.
Must be a Scottish.
I'm not sure actually. And it's not even I've not even got it to hand so I could look. So yeah, Ben's gone. I'm talking to myself, everyone. Um yeah, so Divine is an actor. Gwen Harris Milstead, who was one of John Waters' muses, and Divine acted as a woman and was in many, many films as just a man in drag. They didn't identify as transgender or anything like that. He very much used he, him pronouns and all that stuff, so don't at me about misgendering him. And yeah, he played him. There was probably the first man to play a female romantic lead in history. Yeah, in polyester. So, and was in loads of different films, including Hairspray
Good film.
and all that stuff. Yeah, the original Hairspray, not the musical Hairspray. And yeah, so it was really, really good stuff. And very, very cool actor. Did a lot of very cool films. And yeah, I can't carry on talking to myself anymore, Ben. What's going on?
See, when I go listen, you just keep talking. If it happens again, Skype's a bit glitchy, but we normally have everyone keep talking, and then I just come back in, and the people will not know.
Well, that's hard when it's just the two of us.
But it might happen for a couple of seconds, but I'm allowed to back in. Skype has been a bit glitchy the last couple of months on my laptop. I've looked for updates, no updates needed. But I don't get angry anymore because I know I can come straight back in. You just have to sometimes put up with it. And if there's other people talking, like you've been doing, it covers. There's no dead air, so it's fine.
Okay, but
I
that
might
was quite
ask you
dead
what the
air.
fuck you're talking about if I turn back up like
It's
that.
quite dead
What?
air when me just gabbering on about Divine. So yeah, Divine's
You're
one of
good.
my heroes. John Waters is one of my heroes actually.
Okay.
I really love John Waters. Um,
Oh, good actors.
He's an excellent director, and he's always talks a lot and lots of sense about any things that he's talking about. To be honest,
Lovely.
he's yeah, I think he's brilliant. I once queued for 6 hours to get to meet him, and I'm really glad I did.
I know what waiting for 6 hours for something is this week, so I can imagine it was worth waiting for when you finally got to see him.
Oh, of course.
Okay, we're going to talk about TV. I haven't got much. I don't remember what I told you about the last time. I finished Big Boys.
Oh, Big Boys was good, wasn't it?
I fucking nearly cried at the end. Just that friendship. It's so good. And my
Yeah, and
wife
that little moment where you thought he'd taken his own life, and yeah,
just imagines the best friend next to him. Like, nah, mate, don't do that. I thought it's a way of dealing with it, but not going on about it. And like the heartbreak of his nan with Alzheimer's, and I think a lot of people have been there with a loved one with Alzheimer's. It's terrifying. It feels like they've been possessed, like The Exorcist. It's awful, Alzheimer's.
it
Horrible
is
thing.
not
Because
good.
the person inflicted is just so. They don't know what's going on. They're scared. And I've
Yeah,
had that with my gran.
it's not fun, is it?
I
But yeah,
remember I remember when my grandma had it, I was 23, 24. She had put me back in 6 years ago when I was at college. I was like, that hit me hard because then you realize, oh shit, like that's pretty bad.
mm.
That's pretty far along in the process. At least she knew
Yeah.
who I was.
Well, that's good.
But I've been there a couple of times with family members. It can hit hard. It hits the females in my family quite hard as well.
Yeah, it's not a fun thing to watch. It can be quite distressing for everybody involved. But I'm really glad of the way that they handled it. I thought it was really
It
good.
was great, and I love it, and it's getting a second season. I mean, Channel 4 right now, this side up, Bea, the Irish lady,
Mm.
I'm going to watch season 2 tomorrow.
Aisling B.
Ashton B, because I love season 1. Then you've got Derry Girls, which I started watching season 2 of last night, and it was like Ireland and Northern Ireland meet up together to try and sort problems out, and it's just so. It sounds like murky subject matter, but they make it so funny. I think, what was it? One of the Northern Irish girls calling one of the Irish boys a Jaffa man.
Yeah.
Orange man. Just brilliant. It's so good. And the way they deal with her sexuality, but they're not making it the whole thing. This is good
Mm.
writing. You're
Oh yeah,
acknowledging it,
definitely.
you're talking about it, but it's not her whole thing. She's so much more than that. She's very funny. It's the same thing with Big Boys. They
Yeah.
did that as well. I
Yeah.
just love how it's a mix of people. And like I said to you before you went on holiday, I think, or on your honeymoon and everything, Doctor Who, and you've been in a lot of places. Like I love the fact that it's a best straight guy with a gay guy and they're friends, and I'm so happy to see that relationship explored a bit more.
Yeah, it was lovely. And there was never any kind of oh, don't touch me kind of
No,
bullshit.
that's how most straight men are with gay people. We're like, yo, bro,
Exactly.
we look
Yeah.
after them. It's like, you know what I mean? I felt like I said to my
Yeah.
wife, you know, I like this show because it feels like that guy is me.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's how I react to my gay friends. It's like, yo, how can I help? Go for it. Go get that guy.
Yeah. That's how
Like
you'd hope
normal.
people would be, isn't it? With people, it's how it should be really. But
Also, like I said, toxic masculinity. I'm happy to see them tackle that subject of, you know,
yeah, men not
sex for
talking
men.
about men not talking about their problems is a big issue actually.
And he was a likable character. That's what's really difficult. He's not perfect, but he's not a hateable character. There's no hateable characters here. And I
No,
love, I like, man, Channel 4 at the moment, they're having a run of comedies again, which would rival In Between his Peep Show IT Crowd era of Channel 4.
oh yeah, definitely.
Because what was the other one I was watching? There's Heartstopper, which I haven't started watching again, but which I need to get back onto next week.
Oh, Heartstopper's gorgeous.
I've watched 2 episodes of it so far,
I loved
and
it so
I
much.
love it. I love it really much. I haven't really watched much TV. While the wife's been away, I've been busy gaming because I don't
Okay.
really trust the game. And I also watched Halloween Kills.
Oh, any good?
Ah, it was okay.
I tried to watch it and I gave up. I don't think I've seen the one that comes before it, so it didn't really make much sense.
The problem is they've made him really immortal now. He used to be able to be stopped for a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I got the impression. Like, it's like he's not like, because I was watching it, my husband's in the room. He's like, "Is he immortal?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." Like, so he doesn't. He's not. They're not treating him like a human, and he was getting quite annoyed with it. And and of course that made me annoyed with it.
The one that
So
I don't like the most is Friday the 13th. I
yeah,
never got into those films. Like, there's like,
I was always more Halloween than Friday the 13th. Definitely.
yeah, and maybe more Nightmare on Christmas than any of those two because they always did things with Freddy Krueger differently every time, and it was a bit different and visually more exciting.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
thinking
I'm
it.
just getting a bit bored with slashers, to be honest. Like, I think like having to spend
Hellraiser,
having to
Candyman.
go and see. I went to see Midsummer, as I said last week. I went to see a Midsummer screening of Midsummer, and
Fucking, I mean, people go, "Oh, it's not as good as Hereditary." It's actually, for me, it's
it's
on the
better
level.
than it's better
It's
than Hereditary.
different spookiness, but it's them speaking in another language, and you're like,
There's just
oh,
something so menacing. It's that like the fact that it's never really dark, so it really puts you on edge because you expect bad things to happen in the dark, and when bad things start happening in daylight to pretty blonde girls, it's like, oh holy shit, these you know this is not the rules. This is not how these things go. Like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?
it's better than the Wicker Man. Yeah, I fucking went there.
Well, it's the same kind of film, and they're both folk horrors, and I think that's the Ari Aster's love of folk horror shines out really bright in all of his work.
But I
But
love, but I love how he uses people that don't speak the same language. It can be quite spooky. It's like if you
yeah,
don't speak the same language, they could say what they like, and you would not. And I kind of just like how it's creepy from the word go, but it's a different type of creepy from Hereditary.
yeah. I think it's about how like you accept customs, where you have to accept customs wherever you go, like, and you always feel a little bit alienated,
Yeah,
and it really plays on that fear that you're taking part in some custom that you think is benign, but actually it's about putting your neglectful boyfriend inside a bear costume and burning him alive.
it kind of puts me in the shoes of the people that come here on boats to the UK now about how they
Sorry,
would feel about
spoilers.
the new customs of this country. You
But
know what I
yeah,
mean?
I mean,
It
yeah,
does. It humanizes anyone to go into a new culture and how you feel about being in a new place.
well, yeah. I mean, I know the work that we do. We speak to a lot of first generation immigrants to this country, don't we? And it's like people will say that when I first went there, somebody was taking the piss. Like I met somebody once who is an African Muslim, and somebody at her workplace told her that she could eat bacon because bacon wasn't pork.
Mm.
And then somebody at our mosque told her actually it was pork, and then she felt really bad. Like she was like, I don't know what to do. And so I couldn't believe that somebody would be so mean as to tell me that bacon wasn't pork, and I wasn't being haram with it. I thought it was just really tasty meat. I didn't know what it was. I thought it came from a bacon animal. And like that kind of thing is like you're taking part in something that you don't quite understand what it is or what you're doing it for, but then it turns out it's something really horrible. That's a
Yeah,
real primal fear, isn't it? Like, you go through some ritual with somebody and then somebody turns around and tells you that you're married. There's a few films like that, isn't there?
yeah, but it's so different. I mean, like, there's a lot of horror now. I'm trying to find new horror. Halloween Kills is like, I know everyone goes on about Wreck, like it's amazing. I watched it. It's so Blair Witch, bloody. Found hidden footage ones I find quite difficult to get excited by. I
What is
mean, I watched House. The House films are made by cocaine people in Hollywood, like House is one, two, three, four.
okay, yeah.
Mental movies. Like, you should go watch them. They are hilarious. They're like on Shudder at the moment.
Okay.
Go check it out because it's £5 a month. Shudder is very cheap, and like you will find some of the horror unknowns on there. It's
Okay, that
really
sounds.
well. House House one and two. If we were to do a whole podcast, we would start with those because they are insane. They are from the generation that gave us Gremlins and Home Alone, and that you wouldn't see films made like this now. And they're kind of like they took a lot of cocaine, wrote the script, and it just works somehow. It's just insane. It's not even a horror. It's more just what crazy thing happens next. there's a bit of an electrician just comes to fix the wiring in the house. The fireplace opens. There's a prehistoric jungle, and then next thing you know, he's brought out a shotgun with him and gone, "Let's go hunting." And they don't even stop to think about how he knows why he's got a shotgun and he
I
knows that
love
this is
it.
normal.
I love it. I hope they never explain why there's a jungle in the fireplace. Like, those are my favourite kinds of
They
things.
fucking don't. The house is like a thing, and they never explain it. And I think that's why it works so well. Just go watch it. It's crack. I was laughing. My wife had to tell me to stop laughing so hard because I was legitimately just.
I'm just trying to think. Okay, so
big laugh on me. Big on
yeah,
me.
if we're talking about telly, and before we get to talk about films, we could talk about like horror television programs. Like,
Should we go through like horror then, since we're on the subject? There's a couple of Netflix shows. Mike Flanagan is in the wheelhouse.
well, that's what I was going to say. Like, Mike Flanagan's pretty much
He's got two on
invented
the way
himself a little genre there.
this year. Two more on the way this year. Sorry to run through.
That's
Two
all
more in
right.
the year this year. Are you excited? Because we're not just getting one Mike Flanagan show this year. We're getting two.
Get two.
Yeah.
That is very exciting. I do
Because
love Mike Flanagan. Like, I always like what I love in television is seeing my Stephen King influences, and you just know Mike Flanagan grew up reading Stephen King. Like, there are so many nods and tributes and just like little reverences, I think is probably the word I'd be looking for, to
yeah.
Stephen King, that I'm just inject that straight into my veins, please. Like, just Mike Flanagan fanboying over Stephen King for 6 hour long episodes.
Bly Manor. Some people don't like Bly Manor, but it's just not. It's not trying to do the same thing as Hill House.
Yeah,
I
and I
mean,
think the kind of twists were quite good in both of them. I think, like, I really like, and they were quite similar as well, weren't they? Like, the people being linked to things in ways that they didn't quite understand and all that stuff.
that's true. I mean, like the first time I saw Hill House, I was just kind of blown away by it. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is amazing.
Yeah,
Right, just the way the Crooked Lady, the way they reveal things slowly. It's 10 episodes, and normally Netflix shows, I feel like a lot of shows struggle to fill those 10 episodes, but they knew that it was a one and done season, so they knew that they could get it all done there. And I think doing one season stories are the best for his way because he's not going to let you down. I think Midnight Mass is now the best one out of
oh
all
god,
of them.
definitely, 100%.
Hill House was a big hurdle to clear. Like that's nuts for me.
Yeah,
It's just this, and people go Bly Manor. It's about a love story. It's not about scaring you.
mm.
I think I was
Yeah,
disappointed originally, but then I watched it again, and you're like, well, no, actually, this is telling a good story about lovers and stuff. And
it's endurance of love, isn't it? That's what it's about. That's what they're all about, and that's something that is really a big theme in Stephen King's work, and it's something that's a really big theme in Mike Flanagan's work as well. Like, love endures dimensions, death, time, space, curses. Once love exists, it can't be erased, and I think that's true of all of them, all of the stuff he's done so far, and I hope it continues because I think we need that. Like, and I know that we don't always tune into horror films and horror TV programming thinking that you're going to learn a lesson about love or endurance, but for me, that's exactly what they are. Like, it's about the triumph of the human spirit, isn't it? I'm very deep tonight, very, very deep.
I'm with you on it because that's why it's good horror. This is really Slashy's fail. It's like it's
Yeah, but
just violence,
yeah,
and
gore for no reason, and in
Scream
order,
does it quite well.
yeah,
Scream does it very well, but Scream always reinvents itself. It's always reinventing itself and commenting on what at that time is the new thing in horror.
yeah, but the
Scream
only,
5,
yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah. But the only way that there can be peril in a horror film and there can be redemption is if there's something to care about.
You have to care about the characters. I've always said
Yeah,
this. And people
yeah, there has
go,
to be.
oh,
That's
no.
why people go, oh, Stephen King spends 200 pages building up each character and then you get 10 minutes of action. It's like, yeah, because in order for there to be peril in that scene, you have to know the people that it's happening to.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you could watch somebody getting beat up. Like you could watch that shit on the internet, and it wouldn't be as entertaining because you don't know the person it's happening to. You need to know the person it's happening to. You need to know what they care about. You need to know what's at stake in order to feel that peril.
So when you've got a movie of a cast full of douchebags, those movies stay with me long because I've got no one to root for.
Yeah, you need to root for it. Exactly.
Last summer, everyone's a douchebag.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Saw and Hostel, everyone's a
yeah.
douchebag.
Exactly. Yeah,
Like,
everyone, the
they're crap.
victims, the perpetrators, everybody's
Paranormal
all.
Activity, they're all douchebags.
Oh, I find ghost films really boring. I fell asleep watching Paranormal Activity. That's all you need to know about me.
I
And
mean, Paranormal Activity one's good, but look at the two main characters. They're both douche nozzles. It's like, at the end of the day, horror, you really do, more so than any other movie, you kind of need to have, like, likable characters. You can have a douchebag in there, but they'll be the first ones to fucking go. Then that's fine. But
yeah, you have a douchebag, so you can kill them off first. Like
yeah,
there needs to be stakes. It
but
really does. Like there needs to be like something that's at stake. And I think that's where things like Get Out work so well because you're really rooting for that character. Like you're really rooting for the main character. Like you know him, you know who he is, you know what he wants, you know that he has put all of his uncomfortableness aside about who he's dating because he wants to date her. And it's like, yeah, I understand that this might be weird, but I'm going to go with it anyway. And he's taken that risk, and to watch that potential, watch his life potentially end because he's taken that chance. Oh, that's some tough shit, man. That's some tough shit, and that's why it tapped into that uncomfortable. This is a very similar film to Midsommer as well. Like he's somewhere where he doesn't speak the language, he doesn't look like everybody else, he doesn't know the customs, he doesn't know what's going on, and then he finds himself.
yeah,
God,
it's brilliant. And also, Jordan Peele. Us
is
is another
is
movie where people are like,
Get
it's
is
not
Get
great.
Out a folk horror?
Get Out is
But is it
amazing.
a folk horror though? Because like folk
No,
horror is about going to a community,
kind of.
the
It's
community.
kind of out in the States. It
Yeah,
can, yeah,
but
I
no, it doesn't
think
have to be. It
so.
doesn't have to be the country. It has to be somewhere strange. It has to be coming out of your own community and meeting another community with a strange
Me and Troy spoke
custom.
about this while you were away on the podcast, and
Yeah, I think Get Out might be a folk horror because
I think
he's an
so.
outsider coming in and observing strange customs. Oh,
But
write
it's
in, hit us up on the socials.
But it's the little things like relating to black people with just black other people, like Obama. I wish he was a third president. Yeah, like, oh shit, that looks bad, and it's good to reflect that. So other people, if they're making an effort now to avoid that and just be real instead of like it can be offensive. What you think is
But
trying to be
yeah,
understanding. I saw that and went, oh my god, wow, that's really bad. And you see the mirror, and you're like.
yeah. But the number of people who think that racism in America was solved because Obama was president would actually shock you.
No, there's racism everywhere. There's no way we've solved
Yeah,
racism.
especially in America, for God's
It's
sake.
out of control in America. But I love the best friend character, the main character, because she's
Oh
just
God, yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. I'm so glad that I went to see that film at the cinema because that moment at the end, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a moment at the end where you think one thing's going to happen and something else happens.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm so
cheered.
glad I went to see it in the cinema because the whole cinema was like on their feet going, yes, get in, get in.
He's wrong going on. Like, oh, you think you know,
Yeah.
but you can't quite put your finger on what has been done.
Mm, mm.
That's the thing.
Speaking of television horror as well, I had to rewatch the Wise Owl episode of Inside Number Nine. Like
Oh, what is it? So good. It's
I
a
needed to
classic.
see that again just to see the little clues that they put in about the ending, which I'm not going to spoil. But it does warrant a rewatch. There are a couple of bonus moments in there where you go, oh, okay, yeah, that was signposted pretty loudly there, and that was mentioned there, and yeah, there's a few bits that make you kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, there is some.
Because at
Just,
first, they don't go back to the bit where he's wearing the bird costume in pants,
mm.
like the bird head. It's there for once and never go back to it. I had to go back and check it to make sure I definitely saw that.
Oh, I saw it.
I saw it the first time, but then you're like, they never went back to this. It's like, This
Yeah,
is
they
what he
did
used.
though. They did
And
though.
they don't need, this is why the show is so good. You immediately realise, I realised the first watch, it's like, the dad dressed up as the owl to, right, he had,
Yeah,
right, the thing. Oh my God. Oh, horrible.
just awful,
I
but
needed to take
good.
like 2 showers after watching that episode. I had to go shower for like half an hour to get all the dirt off. That's good writing.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I remember loads of people were that Reese Shearsmith said on Twitter, just got loads of people telling me, "Oh, I had to have 2 showers. Thanks, you bastard." I went, "That's the job done. If
Yeah,
we've touched
exactly.
you, if we've made you think about it, then we've done our job."
Yeah, thinking about it for days as well, like properly, like, oh God.
But that's in the top tier of Inside Number Nine. That's got to be like top 5 now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah,
One day when it's all done, I think they'll stop at 9. I think they're going to stop at number 9 because I think that's the whole point.
yeah,
Don't do 10. Do 2 more seasons. Stop at 9 because I would like to do a ranking. By then it'll be over 50 episodes, and that's going to be a tough ranking because there's so many. Even when it's okay, it's still like the effort to make it different each week is hard
yeah,
to do. They've done nearly 45 episodes now.
yeah. It's so good.
They're brilliant. Whatever they do after this, I don't know how you top Inside Number Nine. I would retire after this.
Well, they'll always do something because, like, when they finished League of Gentlemen, it was like, oh, they're not going to be able to top that, and then they did with Cycleville, and then once Cycleville was finished, it was like, they're not going to be able to top that. It was like, oh, hi, this is called Inside Number Nine. You might like it.
I think it's their best show, Inside Number Nine now.
Yeah, I think League of Gentlemen hasn't aged particularly well. I think we need to acknowledge that.
They've had Psychoville either.
No, but particularly there's a couple of moments in League of Gentlemen where I'm like, oh no, you can't do that anymore.
Especially
Well, I think
um,
our understanding of transgender people has evolved a lot since Barbara was a character, and
at least it's funny, unlike Little Britain, where it's just not funny.
yeah, and the blackface, although like you can say, well, that's his skin till the end of
Down,
time,
down,
it's still a bit like, oh,
hello
come
down,
on, come
hello
on.
down. Yeah, I mean, like it hasn't aged. I know looking back at it, it's blackface basically, and it's just.
Yeah.
Oh. There is a bit where they try and kidnap Peter Davison, which is
There is.
always going to be funny to me. Can I kiss you, Peter?
The bit as well when, well, it's not the only Doctor Who to have been in it because didn't they have Christopher Eccleston playing the owner of a cat cinema?
A cat cinema.
Do you remember in series 3 when they had it was Christopher Eccleston was the owner of the cat cinema, and then they had a
Yes, it
rival dog
was.
cinema in the village, and they were having like a proper they only showed one of them only showed dog films, one of them only showed cat films.
Yes.
I just remembered that Chris Eccleston's character was called Dougal Seep. I can't remember if Christopher Eccleston was the purveyor of the cat cinema or the dog cinema, but it was definitely one of them.
He was good in that. I thank you for reminding me of that.
It's all right. Like, and I think I actually, people malign series 3 of the League of Gentlemen, but I actually think it's really clever, and it really shone a light on how good a character Jeff Tips is. Like, I didn't really get Jeff until series 3, and then I'm like, yeah, every small town has a Jeff.
That's true. Oh, that reminds me. Inside Number Nine brought some of them back from Circleville, and I was like,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
wife was like, "What's this? Are these famous celebrities?" I was like, "No,
No,
they're referencing in one of the other shows. This is nuts.
yeah,
They
this
have to
woman.
do the League of Gentlemen one."
Well, it was Clara, wasn't it? It was and yet another Doctor Who alumnus in that one.
Yes, Clara Oswald.
Clara Oswald,
And
Gemma
again, a lot of Doctor Who alumni are in Inside Number Nine.
Cycleville.
Yeah,
I suppose, well, I don't know if anybody's in Cycleville, I don't know why I
but
said that.
Doctor Who attracts good actors, doesn't it?
Well, I
Always,
suppose
even Jodie Whittaker. It's like a who's who of British acting at this point.
but I suppose the Mark Gatiss crossover would be where it would happen, wouldn't it? Because
Mark Curtis is that guy's been in everything.
Mark Gatiss wrote a few episodes of Doctor Who, didn't he? And was in a few of them, so probably he had a word with.
Ah, he wrote the one in Wales with Charles Dickens. That's a good episode. People don't like it, but I thought, oh, that's pretty good. That bit where the woman's coming across the camera with it, that is some good shit. I don't give a shit. It may be better shot now, but that's proper like getting the kids running out of the front room, scared, screaming, isn't it? That's properly good shit. How do you think about this? Because my friend who used to be into Doctor Who from Japan has just seen David Tennant's back. What the F word is happening? I'm like, well, we don't know.
Well, what I heard, well, and I say I mean my husband, who actually will research on this stuff, is that when Jodie regenerates, she'll regenerate into David Tennant, but everything's a little bit off, and it's all multiverse stuff. I think for the anniversary episode.
Because they're
So
fighting time at the end of Jodie Whittaker's final episode, so it might shut.
yeah, so I think it's going to be a bit of a time fracture situation. Like something's gone wrong, and there's alternative versions of Donna and Rose and all that
It's
stuff.
not the 14th Doctor. The 14th Doctor is still Shitty Gatwa. It's just going to be.
I would technically argue that the 14th Doctor is Joe Martin. Like I will not stand for any Joe Martin erasure on this podcast, but canonically, yeah, I would say Shooty.
I think we should just say the Doctor
Yeah,
now, just because the timeline is with Tennant coming in. It doesn't really matter anymore. You just say David Tennant's Doctor.
I'm not sure if Tennant is playing the Doctor or a version of the Doctor.
It's exciting though. Russell T Davies has single-handedly dragged it kicking and screaming just by, and we haven't even seen anything yet. And it's good because you know it's going to continue. I
Yeah,
am excited to see what they do with the final episode with Jodie Whittaker.
yeah. I mean, and one of the wholesome things that I saw on the internet this week is that Ncuti Gatwa is filming the new Barbie, the new Greta Gerwig Barbie film.
Of course, he is.
And Ryan Reynolds has been wandering about LA in a Doctor Who Ncuti as Doctor Who t-shirt.
Yellow suit.
And Russell T Davies like put it on his Instagram, was like, I'm going to sue him for copyright because that's a knockoff t-shirt. And it was a very lovely, funny moment, I think.
What did you think of what on the t-shirt? I saw this. There was like a yellow suit. What do you think? It suits Shitty Gatwa's Doctor.
Oh God, definitely, yeah.
It's going to be colourful. My wife said there's no way it's going to be some kind of drag race. It has to be spectacular.
It is going to be beautiful, yeah. It's going to be really cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing Sophie Aldred again because Sylvester McCoy was the first Doctor that I remember. I remember watching. I loved Ace when I was a kid. Like,
there's a problem.
What's the problem?
Not a problem. Well, the 13th Doctor, Sophie Aldred, wrote a lovely novel where Jodie Whittaker's Doctor caught up with her.
Oh.
Now, will they reference it in the show? Because if you've read her very good book, by the way, Sophie Aldred, I really enjoyed it. It was lovely to see the reaction to Ace seeing a female Doctor and gone, oh, it was really well written. They had a bit of McCoy in there, like some stuff of why they stopped being with each other, which I know the audios have done, but like this show gets retconned all the fucking time. I don't care anymore. Whatever, you just keep changing.
Yeah, they'll just say timey wimey, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Yeah. So basically, we know the Seventh Doctor was a bit of a bastard. Capaldi's Doctor, a bit of a bastard sometimes, and like I wonder if I would like them to acknowledge the book. Or they're just going to pretend that this is the first meeting of Ace and the 13th Doctor. It'd be interesting to see that for me.
I reckon they'll nod to it. Like, there might be a little like.
Tegan's back as well.
Oh.
The other one. The Australian one. The Australian one's Tegan, isn't she?
I don't know. I'm not as good on my companions.
Vinashta or Tegan. I don't know which one's which because, like you, I came in McGann, 96.
Well, yeah, I'm a bit older than you, so I remember watching Sylvester McCoy. I vaguely remember Peter Davison.
He's a good Doctor, though, McCoy.
Yeah, I like McCoy. Well,
if you'd gone from Davison to McCoy, I reckon you would have survived. Doctor Who would have survived.
My mum loves it. My mum's always loved Doctor Who. She even loves it now.
He's a tricky Doctor, but he's very good at it, and he's one of my favourite actors in the role now. He's in the upper echelon of the Doctor. You know, I am excited. I'm glad we're getting a bit of a break from it for a year between Whittaker and Tennant, and Shitty Gatwa will be in 2023.
Yeah.
24.
I think so. Yeah.
It's good that it takes a bit of a break for a while. Everyone's going to get revved up again. Neil Patrick Harris is, many people are speculating, is going to be if it is the doll maker, the celestial toy maker. That's a pretty cool shout back from the past. I don't know the character myself, but I thought, that's really obscure Doctor Who you're putting out there.
But Neil Patrick Harris is a bit of a good get, right?
Yeah, at first everyone thought he was the Doctor, because I think a lot of people were disappointed with, well, it's not Matt Smith. It's what they're doing, what they're most probably going to do, because it's been confirmed, it's 3 specials with Donna and the Doctor. Nothing would surprise me more if Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi were going to be filming separate specials, and that they're doing like a little Doctor Who series special. Tennant, Smith, Capaldi, like maybe 3 episodes each for next year. Like, it would be different. Like, having them back for like a couple of episodes, 9 episodes or whatever, is fun. Like, you know, and then you can hand it over to Ncuti Gatwa. What do you think? I think that's where they may be going. I think it's not just David Tennant. I think that they may be.
I'm going to stick out a bit of a controversial opinion now, and if anybody wants to disagree with me, feel free to disagree with me, but you don't have to at me about it. Getting a bit sick of multiverse shit right now.
You know, I'm a bit sick of the Disney approach, where everything has got to be made a show about everything, and I skip past Star Wars now. It's like, oh, good, another Star Wars show. I don't give a shit. There'll be another one next week.
Well, there's no peril in some of them, like, because the Obi-Wan one was good, but you knew that Obi-Wan wasn't going to die, and you know that Leia's not going to die.
And you knew Reva was coming back because she's got her own special.
Yeah, so it's like, there's no like suspense here. But every Marvel film now is about a bloody multiverse, and I'm like, come on, like, does everything need to be about a multiverse?
People are going to get bored of it. I think people are already getting quite bored of Marvel, because I'm not hearing a lot of stuff about Miss Marvel. I think people are kind of dropping off now.
No, Miss Marvel was good, but they did.
It is good, but it's not getting as much buzz now. Because I think, like we said last week when you were here, me and Troy were like, the thing is, we're now spoiled, but Disney Plus are pumping out too much Marvel and Star Wars. So it's good, but you've got your 4 films a year in the cinema, and you're constantly doing Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk. It's not so special anymore because it's all year round. It's like Star Wars. It's kind of the specialness of it is gone if it's all year round
and all the time. Yeah, like the whole reason Star Wars
high quality.
Yeah,
Star Wars I've heard is pretty okay. Like, there's a couple of people going, Black Woman, how dare she? It's like, well, no, it's not a problem. Disney didn't make a big deal out of it. They just kind of went, this is the actress. She's pretty good. Go with it.
Yeah. And they said, if that's not the way the Jedi would think.
I love Disney saying we're going to ignore the haters. I was like, yeah, high five you to Disney. Well done. But I look at the long list of Star Wars shows. I'm like, you do not need that much Star Wars. It's the Jedi and the Sith. What the? You're going to fill in every hole, aren't you?
Yeah. And I think there's actually people. My husband and I were talking about this the other day. It's like, I bet it's somebody's job at Disney to watch Star Wars and look for plot holes or bits where you can't explain and be like, right, what can we stick in here?
I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I feel just about getting away with it, because when you do a new show, I think people are beginning to backlash against superhero stuff. And I think we're finally seeing superhero overdone that. Because I'm not excited anymore. I'm not watching. I'm not following up on 4. I'm just bored now. I feel like Avengers Endgame was a good time to bow out, but Disney Plus now has made it really hard for them to slow down, because now every character. That next Avengers movie is going to be such a political statement, which is fine.
Yeah, I was saying to my mum, like, she needs to watch Doctor Strange, and she's like, what do I need to have watched? And I was like, well, the new Doctor Strange
Division,
movie
because
doesn't really make.
otherwise,
Yeah, the new Doctor Strange movie won't make sense until you've watched WandaVision.
or Spider-Man.
Or well, not as much Spider-Man, but like you could. I reckon you could probably keep up if you'd seen WandaVision, but not if you'd not seen WandaVision.
You have to watch everything. That's the problem because
Yeah,
stuff
and
comes from other stuff.
I like stuff that rewards continuity. Like I like stuff. That's why I love Stephen King, is because he rewards people that pay attention to his books, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah,
But every single one of them are standalone. Like you could read a bit of one book and it would be a reference to something, and
yeah.
that
You don't need
reference
to
might
put
go
everything together.
completely over your head if you hadn't put them all together.
That's
But
why I like Netflix shows because they had like little nods to the Avengers, but
yeah,
they kind of did their own thing, and I felt that was better. But now I just kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's good. I can tell that the shows are good. I watched Hawkeye. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't excited by it. I kind of feel like,
it was fun. It
but it didn't blow my
it didn't
tits off.
blow my
Moon Knight was
didn't it
fine.
did yeah it didn't blow my tits off.
One Division didn't blow my tits off. It actually annoyed me because they
I liked
realized,
that.
yeah, but 9 episodes, you could cut that down to six. And now they're doing 6 episodes. I think they found their format of 6 episodes. They're like, this is what works.
I
Mine
think
was too self-indulgent.
Miss Marvel's actually really lovely. Like I really like Miss Marvel. I
Oh,
think
I've
she
heard
did
good
a good job.
things, but I just have no. I need to take a big break from Marvel.
But I think there's a lot of people that aren't interested in it because it's a teenage girl of color as the main character, and that fucking sucks, man.
Suppose so, but like we
Like,
said last time you were here, we need to educate people of like,
yeah.
look, we need to be more accepting and just base it on the quality, not the color.
But the
Yeah.
woman that wrote it basically was like getting so much online hate because she's written a television show,
But
and
well
it's
done for
like,
her. I
yeah, but
think it's
like
great. Well
there's a
done.
certain type of man on the internet that doesn't like it when women do things.
See, white men, I'm beginning need to be taken behind a shed and shot sometimes. Straight white men, like.
Some of them, yeah,
Yeah, well, the ones that are causing trouble, it's normally I watch some YouTubers and they say, "Oh, we're not racist." I don't watch them. I was just watching their. I wanted to see their side of things because I want to try and get both sides.
yeah,
And I watched a few videos about Lord of the Rings, and then I'm not a fan. I'm not going to say the name. I don't want them to get publicity. But I was like, well, maybe they're just feeling a bit, Lord of the Rings, be careful with it, please. Like, get good actors. And then they're like, oh my God, gay character, black woman. Oh my God, they're all white in Tolkien's world. What the fuck?
yeah. I'm
Look,
being
we're not
erased.
racist. If you weren't racist, you wouldn't give a shit. You would just let it happen and enjoy the show for the show.
It's like you've had the floor for thousands and thousands of years now, and yet you give somebody else 30 seconds of airtime and you
Yeah.
feel like you're being erased. It's that, and then they have the
You're not. You're
temerity.
just sharing the world.
Yeah,
You've got loads of ever different ethnic backgrounds that have been held back for decades, centuries. We can share it. No one's saying that you can't be white. Well, some people are, but those people are wrong as well. But a lot of people just want to be heard alongside white people, and I think that's not a problem. I think it's beautiful.
mm,
And personally, can I just say, I'm really happy to see more diversity to television because, like, okay, Marvel's maybe not because there's too much of it, but like shows like I've spoken about today,
see, I don't think there's
Heartstopper,
too much. I don't think
like
there can be too much.
the
Like,
different sides, Northern Ireland, like the diversity, Midnight Mass about a Muslim sheriff in a Christian community. It's just these type of things that I can see from their sides. Like I just
yeah,
want to look at and Miss Marvel, for example, that is a big one. I like having a look at a positive Muslim role model for people. I think that's fucking important.
or just a Muslim role model that's not a terrorist.
That's it. No, that's what
Doesn't
I
even
mean.
have to be
That's what I
positive.
totally mean.
That's
They
just
are a good person.
ordinary.
They are
Like,
a good person. They want to show. Most Muslims are normal people who don't want to hurt people.
yeah,
99%.
like same as most Christians and most Hindus. You
Yes.
know, most
Yes.
people aren't extremists, but they're extremists of all colors and creeds and religions.
99% of Muslims I've met are lovely fucking people.
Yeah,
And they are lovely, smiley, friendly people. And they just want to be in peace. Which,
yeah.
And I think I've spoken to some of my Muslim friends, and they're like, well, it's good to see some more Muslim representation on television, like the Masters now from that background. I'm Doctor. Yeah, is he a bad guy? The Master is a bad guy, but it's more. He's not just. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Yeah, he's not. He's not. It's not
And
his. It's not his face that makes him evil. It's his deeds.
But you know what my friend said to me? He said, it's not because he's the bad guy, it's because he's not a terrorist. He's just a bad Time Lord. That is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. Exactly.
He said, I wasn't happy with Jodie Whittaker when he was in Nazi going, your face colour is going to get you into trouble around here, like, and just left him to it. I was like, Whittaker, that was naughty. That was racist, Whittaker. No, the Doctor is many things.
Yeah.
But like,
accepts
I mean,
everyone.
the guy from Midnight Mass, he's in Bly Manor. He's going to be in the new House of Ulster, and also because Mike Flanagan never stops sleeping, never sleeps. He's got another one with kids in a school telling stories as well. So there's 2 shows coming this year.
That sounds amazing. Actually, I'm really looking forward to that.
And Netflix seems to be stepping up the horror as well because
like
they've got Area 51. No, not Area 51. Area 17.
Okay.
I haven't watched it yet, so I'm going to watch it. I've heard Archive 71.
I watched Archive 71. Yeah, it's really good. I loved it.
I love Netflix. A lot of people are moaning, but they are trying to do some very diverse stuff at the moment.
They're just giving people a go as well. Like I was like, you want to make a TV show? Yeah, all right then, let's get you. Let's take a chance.
Is it a problem? Well, I mean, people go, "Oh, Disney Plus." Disney Plus is just Star Wars and Marvel right now. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's not interesting to me anymore. So, like, at least with Netflix, it's different cultures, different stories, different backgrounds that they're trying. A One Piece anime live adaptation, which is going to be shit, but they're going to try anyway. I've seen the actor already playing Luffy the Monkey. No, but like they're trying things. They're not afraid to try shit, but they cancel stuff too quickly though. Give it a month.
It's high stakes, high yield, isn't it?
Yeah, but sometimes a fan base crops up later, and then
exactly.
Maybe we should get a second season on that done. Because sometimes it takes Netflix, you're your own worst enemy. You put all your big shows out in the same week. They're not very good at. But then again, you don't know what will catch fire. Squid Game came out of absolute nowhere. You never quite. Or through now the Korean shows, I've noticed they're banking on the Korean shows now in Netflix originals because I think people really high on Korean shows right now. Like they're doing Money Heist, Korea. So it's kind of like they're banking on it.
Yeah, but the thing is that they might cancel things quickly, but they're not afraid to bring things back when they need to.
I'm excited. They're doing a live action Squid Game. I can't wait. Like nobody will die, but that will be fun. Or it's like a reality Squid Game. Fuck yes. Let's go. Anyway, I think we're going to stop here today because 1 hour is good enough for me, and I think we are doing a good job keeping these trimmed. Trimmy? Trimmy's not a word, Ben. So, Troy and Tara, everything is in the description of their channel, everything. Go find that. I can't be bothered. What is our Twitter? What is our email? Hannon Watkins.
It is Square I Sin. So SQUAREEYESSYN @gmail.com and @twitter.com.
Lovely. There's a Facebook group. Go check it out. We've nearly cracked 16,000 downloads on Spotify and the streaming apps. And our current recent episodes have done quite well on YouTube, so we're really happy. We're going to keep growing. Thank you for all your support. Also, Alex Tordo, friend of the podcast, Alex's therapist service is in the link below as well. If you need to talk to someone, she's very good. She looks after me while I'm working with her as a deputy manager where we work. She's very good at coaching people, so you should give her a shot. Trust me, she's brilliant. And that's it. So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me. Thank you for listening to us put the world to right for an hour and a half. Or an hour, whatever it's been. I'm very tired.
That's crispy. Good week.
Proper hour.
Don't fight a Scotsman. Don't fight a Scottishman.